Hey guys, what's up? 2-Bit Jesus, and welcome to the first 2-Bit review of 2020. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season and a happy new year. And the game we're looking at this month is inspired by a game that's coming out this month, and that is Dragon Ball Kakarot. Now, I'm excited for this game for a multitude of reasons. One, it's kind of a semi-open world Dragon Ball game with some RPG elements. And the gameplay looks like it's very close to that of the Xenoverse series, which, in my opinion, is the best type of Dragon Ball game, or the most fun type, I guess, of Dragon Ball game I've ever played. I prefer that style over the traditional 2D styled fighting games that the Dragon Ball games have had, like Budokai series, or even, what was it, that came out recently, the Z Fighters, was it? Or I can't remember the exact name, but it was a beautiful game. Don't get me wrong, but it was still like that side-scrolling, 2D fighter style, and it feels more natural when it's like third-person, brawling like the Xenoverse series. Anyway, the other cool thing about this series is it's following the entire Dragon Ball Z story arc. So the Saiyan saga, the Frieza saga, the Cell saga, and the Buu saga, it's all there. You're going to be able to experience and enjoy the entire story of Dragon Ball Z in this game. And while this is amazing, it got me thinking that this isn't the first time we've experienced the entire Dragon Ball Z saga told in a video game. And that's why I'm taking a look at Legacy of Goku on the Game Boy Advance today. And to be fair, yes, Legacy of Goku only covers the Saiyan saga and the Frieza saga, but it lit the match that spawned Legacy of Goku 2 and then later on Buu's Fury. So this series did cover the entire saga of the Dragon Ball Z story. But today I am only taking a look at the first game in the series. So without further ado, let's power up into this review. Dragon Ball Z: The Legacy of Goku is an action RPG developed by Webfoot and published by Infogrames. It was released in spring of 2002 for the Game Boy Advance. Legacy of Goku is based on the first two sagas of the Dragon Ball Z series, starting with the Saiyan saga and ending with the Frieza saga. This game, unintentionally I believe, shares a little bit in common with the Japan-only Super Nintendo turn-based RPG, Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Densetsu. It follows the same story arc in an RPG vein, but unlike that title, Legacy of Goku only lets you play as Goku and focuses only on his story instead of the entire cast of characters. Legacy of Goku is also one of the first titles for the Game Boy Advance to have full motion video. Well, that's about as much as I can squeeze out of this game's tidbits, so lend me your energy as we attempt to review this game. Legacy of Goku's game mechanics are pretty simple. It is action-oriented. You have basic attacks and special attacks. As you proceed through the game, you gain more abilities. You start out with a basic Ki Blast, but will eventually learn the Solar Flare, which stuns enemies, the Kamehameha Wave, which is a charge attack that does more damage than your basic Ki Blast. Goku can fly around, but has limited steps that allow you to fly. You can fill this flight count by picking up flight orbs that are in every area of the game. You can also increase the amount of steps you can take in flight mode by leveling up. When you level up, Goku will increase his core stats, his attack strength, health, ki, and as previously stated, his flight power, or range. How you level up is by defeating enemies and completing quests. Duh. The max level you can reach is level 25, and you can reach this at any point in the game. That is, if you have time. You can grind this experience in areas of the game that have strong enemies. Whenever you defeat these enemies, just leave that area and come back and they will have respawned. I grinded near the beginning of the game and reached level 25, then coasted through the rest of the game. It seems one of the core pieces of this game is grinding, as the side quests and main quest only make up barely half of my playtime. I would have gladly traded this off for a shorter, more focused game over this grinding model. There are items to help you throughout the game. You have herbs that replenish a quarter of your health, and Zinzu beans that fill up all of your health. One thing I don't like about the item system is there is a limit to how many you can carry, but the upside is that items will respawn when you leave an area, allowing for you to farm these items if you're ever running low. The enemies are very aggressive once you enter their line of sight. They will stumble over themselves to attack you. This includes the big boss fights like Vegeta, Captain Ginyu, and Frieza. Most enemies are basic but fit in the Dragon Ball Z universe. You have wild animals like wolves, snakes, dinosaurs. Then when you get to Namek, Frieza's henchmen. One thing I have not covered is how all this comes together and is executed, and the answer to that is kinda yeah, it works, but it is a bare bones experience. I feel the development team, if given a little bit more time and focus, they could have put more playable characters like say Vegeta, Gohan, and Piccolo, more special abilities, and most importantly, more storyline quests. The gameplay feels more like a proof of concept or a very basic foundation of what would become a really great game series. Now, granted, that doesn't make this game terrible, but it did leave much more to be desired. So I have to give gameplay 1 bit out of 4. The sound is a bit spotty in quality in some parts. It sounds too compressed, honestly. The music tracks are limited but stay true to the DBZ style and aesthetic. There is some voice work, but it sounds like they used a cassette recorder to capture the lines from the show. The sound lacks a lot but doesn't completely shit the bed, so I would give it 1 bit out of 4. This game looks like a DBZ game. All the characters look like their anime counterparts, even though some look like their later selves. For example, this game takes place during the early parts of DBZ, where Yamcha has long hair, yet his sprite is the short-haired Yamcha from the Cell Saga era of Dragon Ball Z. The game offers all the major locations seen in the anime. You go from Earth's towns, wildernesses, and badlands to the Afterlife, Snake Way, and Home for Infinite Losers, and King Kai's planet, and then finally across the stars to planet Namek. The story loosely follows Goku during the first 2 seasons of the show. Goku and his son Gohan are visiting his mentor Master Roshi and friends Bulma and Krillin. Goku's evil brother Raditz shows up and reveals that Goku is a Saiyan, an alien race of warriors, then kidnaps his son. Piccolo, who is Goku's greatest nemesis, shows up and offers a truce and an alliance against Raditz. This is the part where the game starts to take liberties with the narrative. Piccolo goes ahead of Goku so he can wander in the woods near his house to level up. And by level up, I mean murder innocent animals in the wilderness. Some Dragon Ball Z characters make their cameos in the game, like Goku's wife Chi-Chi and friends Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu. After lots of grinding and non-canon side quests, an old dude opens the door and teaches Goku the solar flare. Cause, remember, it wasn't Tien that pioneered that move, it was some old dude in the forest who wanted you to find his lost cat. Yeah, that's how it happened, right? From here, the game actually slides back into the story of the show, with Goku and Piccolo battling Raditz, then Goku ultimately sacrificing himself to defeat his evil brother. After a sad goodbye with Goku's son, he is sent to the afterlife. Goku is sent to train with King Kai, who of course teaches him the Kamehameha wave. What the fuck, Webfoot? I mean, really? You couldn't put the Kaioken attack in or the Spirit Bomb? No, you had to alter the story for your video game, so you would only have to create 3 special attacks instead of 4 or 5. You lazy bastards. So yeah, King Kai teaches you the Kamehameha wave, even though it was Master Roshi when Goku was a kid, but you know what, that's besides the point. I'm over it. Goku then has to hurry back to Earth, stopping a bank robbery on the way to prevent Nappa and Vegeta from murdering all his friends. Which, too late, only Gohan and Krillin are left. Everyone else got murdered. Maybe you should have just let those guys rob the bank and then saved your friends. I don't know, just my suggestion, Goku, next time. But even in, this is kind of goes with Goku's character, because even in the show, he's really bad at showing up on time to save his friends. So, they kind of stuck to the narrative there. Anyway, Goku easily defeats Nappa, and with the aid of his friends and son, defeat Vegeta. Barely. It is decided the survivors of the battle must go to planet Namek and collect the Dragon Balls, so that they can wish their dead friends back to life. Luckily, they have spaceships on hand. Krillin and Gohan go ahead of Goku, who needs to heal up before he can head out. From here, the game follows the story fairly closely. Goku lands on Namek, has to collect baby Namek trees, then solve riddles in a Namekian temple before he helps Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan defeat the Ginyu Force. Goku heals up for his big battle with Frieza, and in typical Goku fashion, you show up after someone has already been killed. This time it's Vegeta. You then enter an epic final battle where Goku has to beat all of Frieza's transformations. Once he gets to his final form, he kills Krillin and Goku goes Super Saiyan and beats the shit out of Frieza. The game ends with planet Namek exploding and showing everyone but Goku on Earth alive. Now, you might be wondering, if you never watched the show and you're playing this game and you're like, what the hell's going on? What happened off screen during the battle with Goku and Frieza, the Earth Dragon Balls were used to wish everyone back to life. Then on planet Namek, the Namekian Dragon Balls were used to wish everyone but Goku and Frieza off Namek into planet Earth. So yeah, that little explanation I gave you there is because the game fails to explain certain story elements. It just shows you that the game plays fast and loose with the story in certain parts. The fact that you only follow Goku around, you miss out on so much that happens in the story. But with that said, it does do a decent job of touching upon the story elements that made those sagas great. I mean, you get to have your battle with Raditz, you have your battle with Nappa and Vegeta, you face off with the Ginyu Force, you have your battle with Frieza, and then you turn into a Super Saiyan and really just beat the crap out of him. So it at least does give you a general sense of the characters and the story. It does at least touch on the high points of the first two sagas' story. This was also the first time we had gotten a Dragon Ball Z RPG in North America, and it didn't do too bad on the story and presentation. So, in the end, Legacy of Goku's story gets 2 bits out of 4. Legacy of Goku, I think, is a decent action RPG. The gameplay is simple but fun. There is a bit of grinding and a little bit of busy work in finding certain items and doing side quests to fill up your time. But all that being said, it's not too terrible, and I had a bit of fun playing it. And while the story loosely follows its source material, it does at least hit most of the high points of the story from the first 2 sagas of Dragon Ball Z. My final verdict for Legacy of Goku on the Game Boy Advance is a recommended look for the casual and hardcore collector of the Game Boy Advance. And while it wasn't the best in the series, it did lay the groundwork for what would become the best in the series, that being Legacy of Goku 2. So if you're still interested in getting Legacy of Goku, you can find it online for around $6, but honestly folks, I would spend an extra $12 and get the 2-in-1 pack of Legacy of Goku 1 and 2. That goes online for around $18, and I think it's the better deal. Well guys, the first review for 2020 is in the books. Thanks for stopping by and watching, and here is to another year of great reviews from me, yours truly, 2-Bit Jesus. Now, before I leave, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that there is a review next month, and I hope you check that out. It is a game that Gags Gaming requested, and that is Shadowgate 64. I'll see you guys next month. As always, stay safe and play on.